The story of the Rafale is not simply about an aircraft. It is about a nation that insists on strategic independence, an industrial base capable of producing high-end defense products across every domain, and a vision of a multipolar world where military capability is not monopolized by a single superpower. When countries choose the Rafale, they are not just buying a weapons platform, they are buying a degree of autonomy in how they conduct foreign policy and defend national interests. This underlying logic explains why the aircraft has gained momentum only in recent years. The global order itself is shifting, and the demand for sovereign strategic capacity is increasing. Within the French armed forces, the Rafale is the core of national air strategy. It has flown thousands of sorties in real conflicts: Libya, Mali, Syria, Iraq. From nuclear strike capability to beyond visual range air combat, from naval carrier-borne operations to deep strike penetrating missions, the Rafale is an authentic multi-role platform. The Spectra electronic warfare suite provides world-class situational awareness and self-protection, while its passive signature management enables a degree of stealth without a fully stealth-shaped airframe. Most importantly, Rafale crews have accumulated combat experience against irregular forces, surface-to-air threats, and modern fighters. This gives France operational maturity that many European forces lack. The export journey of the Rafale began slowly. In the early 2000s and early 2010 period, the aircraft failed to secure buyers. Many states either lacked funding or believed that U.S.-made fighters offered better access to training, doctrine, or political partnership. Then came the breakthrough with Egypt in 2015. Cairo's purchase was not just a procurement, it was a geopolitical statement, showing that Egypt did not want to depend exclusively on U.S. military decisions or export controls. Qatar followed soon after. The decisive milestone came with India's acquisition, which gave the Rafale a full strategic endorsement by a rising Indo-Pacific power. Subsequently, Greece, Croatia, Indonesia, and the United Arab Emirates joined the list. Each of these purchases came with its own strategic calculus, some driven by regional rivalries, others by a desire to diversify sources of military technology. Why do countries choose Rafale over alternatives such as the F-35? One critical factor is independence from United States military export restrictions. The Rafale is not subject to international traffic in arms regulations in the same way that U.S. systems are. Buyers are free to employ the aircraft in operations without requiring U.S. permission or risking Washington's political intervention. Another factor is technology transfer. France allows more customization and industrial participation, which resonates strongly in countries seeking to build domestic defense industries. There is also the combat-proven credibility of the platform, its reliability, and the relatively lower long-term maintenance costs compared to certain U.S. designs. This becomes crucial when an aircraft is expected to fly continuously across decades of service. In the Indo-Pacific region, the Rafale plays directly into a shifting balance of power. India uses it not merely as a modern fighter, but as a tool of air superiority against Pakistan and as a deterrent against China's growing air capabilities in Tibet and Xinjiang. India now has Rafales operating from strategic bases that overlook the Himalayan frontier. Indonesia's purchase of Rafale is even more geopolitically interesting. It is not merely a procurement decision, it signals Jakarta's desire to reduce reliance on either U.S. or Russian systems. It is an assertion of an independent geopolitical posture at the heart of Southeast Asia. At the same time, France retains a sovereign presence in the Indian Ocean through territories such as Réunion and Mayotte, giving Paris long-term strategic interest in the region. The Rafale, therefore, is simultaneously an export article and an instrument of French foreign policy projection. In Europe, the Rafale has helped reshape the internal defense architecture. Greece's acquisition was driven by tensions with Turkey, giving Athens a tool for both deterrence and escalation control. Croatia's adoption of legacy Rafale units brought it firmly into the Western European defense ecosystem, while accelerating its transition away from Soviet-era aircraft. These purchases also strengthen intra-European defense ties. France, Greece, Italy, and increasingly even smaller states are beginning to form a subtle but real defense axis within the Mediterranean basin. This is different in character from NATO's US-centric model. It is a European-led security posture with its own logic and priorities. When comparing Rafale and F-35, the core question is not which aircraft is technologically superior, but which model of security partnership the buyer prefers. The F-35 is part of a comprehensive US-dominated digital ecosystem linking intelligence, logistics, software, and networked warfare. Nations operating F-35 implicitly align their defense doctrines with the United States and accept a degree of operational transparency to Washington. The Rafale, in contrast, is a platform of sovereign autonomy. It integrates well with NATO structures, but does not require them. It gives political latitude. Buyers of Rafale are signaling that they want capabilities without strings, partnership without submission, cooperation without dependency. If one projects forward, the rise of the Rafale contributes to the emergence of a multipolar strategic environment. France becomes not merely a supplier, but a security partner for middle powers. A subtle alignment. France, India, the United Arab Emirates, Greece, Indonesia may be forming, characterized by a preference for autonomy, diversified defense relations, and a willingness to reduce reliance on the United States. This is not an anti-US coalition. It is a coalition of countries seeking a position between major blocs. The Rafale is a symbol of that posture. Looking to the future, the Rafale will evolve into its F-4 and F-5 standards, which will include improvements in data fusion, electronic warfare, and integration with unmanned combat air systems. Eventually, the Rafale will coexist with Europe's future combat air system, likely entering service in the mid-2030s. But even as newer systems emerge, the Rafale will remain in service for decades, gradually shifting from frontline dominance to dominion as a networked battle manager, coordinating unmanned assets. In conclusion, the story of the Rafale is the story of strategic autonomy becoming a market force of its own. Countries choosing Rafale are choosing freedom of military action. They are choosing not to be constrained by geopolitical dependencies. And as more powers seek such independence, the Rafale becomes not merely one fighter among many, but a strategic instrument shaping a new distribution of power in the world after the unipolar era.